Well, Marco, great to have you here as part of this conversation about Industry 4.0 and the fourth industrial revolution. I want to start real quick by setting some context for folks who may be watching or listening to this about you and your history with Ready Foods, and just give us the backstory of the company itself.
Sure. It's a family-owned company. I'm the second generation. My parents started the company in 1972. I joined the company in 1992. So I've been at it 32 years, probably going on 33, not long. So what Ready Foods is a soup and sauce manufacturer. We make soup and sauces for the restaurant industry, usually frozen in pouches. And we're kind of one of those hidden companies because oftentimes our customers don't want to let the world know that they're bringing in pre-cooked stuff and they're just reheating it. So it's a business you probably would not hear about because it's behind the scenes.
Now, as you came into the business in 1992, as you said, what were your, I don't want to say marching orders, but how were you thinking about guiding, leading, being in the business, taking over and that transition from your parents?
Well, at the time, right, we were a small company, and I guess we're now probably a larger small company. But I came in really not having a background in the business, and slowly over many years had to learn the very basics and foundations of what we're about. And that took a long time, and learning how to professionalize what we were doing. So it took a long time, right? I'm no, wonder success story. We're about slow plotting growth over a long period of time.
What were some of those things that you had to, as you put it, professionalize? What were some of those things that you were thinking about at the time, or have thought about over the years?
I mean, in any business, right, you have to reinvent yourself over and over and over. And one of the hard things about reinvention is that people get comfortable with what they know. And what happens is that in your organization, you will have people who defend the status quo and who are not interested in training or modernizing or thinking about things differently. So what happens is that you have ambition as a business owner to do more things and new things. And you find that you have reluctance among, a number of people in your own organization. And that's really hard to do. There's ways of overcoming it. One is by being a good leader and being able to convince and sell these ideas to your people. And that's the best way. And then unfortunately, right, you can come to a point where you have people who are so solid in their support of the status quo that they need to go somewhere else. It is really painful to do, right? But you have a duty as a business owner, not only to yourself and your family, but to the rest of the employees who are with you, is to keep the company relevant and growing and dynamic. And what you want to do is have a company that's used to change, that really understands that defending the status quo is never a good idea. But on the other hand, right? On the other hand, the important thing is that there are certain critical things that you cannot go away from. One is your approach, your ethics, your general approach to people and customers. If you have a good, solid one, you should never leave that. Other things that you should be careful about, like in my business, right, which is the food business, which can be very dangerous, is to make sure that we have a quality safety program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quality control has to be very, very high. Food safety is probably the most important thing at our company. That should never change. But having said that, for us, right, is understanding that there's this dynamic, this tension between quality control and quality assurance. And it's very, very, very easy to become good at quality control. And what that is catching mistakes before they leave your premises and building systems of quality to prevent problems. Whereas quality assurance is a little bit different. Quality assurance is having the systems in place that prevent a problem from happening in the first place. Quality control, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than quality assurance. Quality assurance really makes you really look deep into what you're doing and making the needed reforms so that your quality control doesn't need to catch something before it leaves your premises. So anyway, that's a long-winded answer.
It's all good.
But these are critical things.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marco, you mentioned the being a good leader and that being the preferred method of institutionalizing this acceptance of change, and that you want to create this company, you want to create this organization that does like or accepts change, to use your language there. What does that look like from your vantage point? What have you found that works in leadership and in pushing that down in throughout the company and organizationally, operationally making that a thing? How do you think about that?
So a company leader, right, or at different levels, there's an element of sales always to what you do, and being able to learn to be a decent salesperson and to convince people of your vision and where that they have to believe that you know where you're going and that you know the best way to get there. I think what happens oftentimes in business, it's very easy for owners or CEOs to become complacent and to be happy with the status quo and really lose sight of a North Star of where are they trying to go. And there's nothing like success to put you to sleep. And it's true. And I've been there, right? I've done that.
Yeah.
I've been happy with things because, I'm growing at a good rate. My customers are happy. And it's very easy to get lulled into it. And the bad thing about it is that as an owner, right, you're dependent on other people's viewpoints and the way they see reality. And it's very easy to get caught up in their complacency. And it's a bad combination of your own complacency and the complacency of the people around you. And it's a dynamic you have to fight if you want to grow and really realize the dream that you have. You have to have a North Star, and then you can't lose your vision, right? You can't lose sight of your North Star.
Two quick questions in that, Marco.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have sales training? Did you have a sales background before you came into the business, or was that learned on the fly?
No. It was learned by necessity.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate in that I had, as the second generation in family business, you could see, for me, right, my parents, a good salesman.
Yeah.
And so I grew up around a good salesman. And I don't know. It just, I think there's an element of genetics to it also. There's an openness, a fearlessness that you have to have. And sometimes you're just genetically wired that way. So I had a good mentor in my father. And also, I think my genetics were wired for that, for communication. And so, I went along with strengths. But, am I a good salesman? I don't know. Sometimes, and sometimes not.
So, second question in that, what's your North Star? You've alluded to it, but what's yours? I'd love to hear it.
Okay.
Here we go. Buckle up, right?
This is a really abstract way of looking at it, right?
Okay.
But I love history, and I love ancient history. And one of the ideas the ancient Greeks spoke about was arete, or excellence, and the pursuit of excellence. And all I can tell you is since childhood, I've always wanted to be excellent in everything that I've done. I want to be excellent, and I want the people around me to be excellent. I want our products to be excellent. So if there is a North Star, it's that Greek idea of arete, of excellence, and the pursuit of excellence, and realizing that excellence can be seen in different ways. You're walking down the street and you see a really beautiful tree. That tree has arete. Or you're in the country and you see a beautifully plowed field. That field has arete. Or when you see a beautiful art, a painting or a movie, and it's just truly excellent, that has arete also. And so I know that I want to be excellent. I know that I'm not excellent, but I'm still hungry for that and to try to bring us towards that new state.
That new
So
state.
that's my North Star.
I love it. I love it. And that new state, Marco, that arete. How have you, as we transition into talking about Industry 4.0 and the fourth industrial revolution, how has that North Star guided how you've thought about Ready Foods and pushing it into the future? I've toured your facility here in the Denver, Colorado area. I would say it's excellent. I would say my impression of it just walking through there is, man, arete is there. But how have you thought about incorporating some of the things that make up Industry 4.0?
Okay. So let me tell you, like anybody else, right? I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
I've had periods of great growth and stagnation, growth, stagnation. And probably maybe 7, 8 years ago, I felt that we were stagnating. And the thing that sort of changed the world for me was understanding that I didn't understand my business the right way.
Hmm.
I saw ourselves as a supplier of restaurants to be a commissary for restaurants. And when in reality, the hardest thing for me to understand was that we were not like a restaurant and we were not like a commissary for restaurants. What we were manufacturers, and that we had more in common with other manufacturers than we ever did with any restaurant. And that insight that we were a manufacturer led us and led me down the first path, which was lean manufacturing and the Toyota production system. I remember going to a plant, and it was with a yogurt plant, and everybody was talking about lean manufacturing. And I was the only there. I was the only person who felt like a dummy. I didn't quite know what they were talking about. When I had heard of lean manufacturing, I thought of just-in-time and automobile industries, and I did not realize that it applied to a food business like my own. And once I had that insight, it was sort of like a revelation. Paul on the road to Damascus. I was hit by a thunderbolt. I went from the yogurt plant. I went to Barnes and Noble and found a book called Lean Manufacturing for Dummies. I got the book out. I bought it. I came home, ate dinner, and spent the evening, and chapter by chapter, because yes, that makes sense. Yes, 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 yes. And with that moment, I don't know, the scales fell from my eyes. And I knew that lean manufacturing was the way to go. Fortunately for us in Denver, where we're based, we had an organization called Manufacturers Edge. They provide lean training for manufacturing companies. I contacted them. They also said that there was money from the state of Colorado to help manufacturers improve their capabilities. So with that, I was off to the races. I was buying books. I was reading. I found videos. I found Manufacturer's Edge, started doing training. And really, we began the baby steps towards understanding what lean really meant. Probably for us, the best time in our journey was COVID. A lot of our thinkers, a lot of our office people were at home, and we really had the time to really do the research, read the books, go to the videos, and really deepen our understanding of what lean is. And it was an opportunity with the retirement of one COO to bring on a new COO, and really to advertise and to really be specific in that we wanted to bring in a new COO whose background was in lean manufacturing. Mm. Once we did that, and we had a lean practitioner, an experienced one who'd been doing it for 15 or more years, it made it easier for us to speed up the progress that we were making in lean. So once we embraced lean and lean thinking, it led to a creativity. And COVID was great. I had lots of time to go to YouTube and start looking around. And as I did that, I discovered this concept that was coming out of Europe, out of Germany, called Industry 4.0. Mm-hmm. And in the same way that it was a bolt of lightning to be hit with this idea of lean manufacturing, understanding the fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0, really opened my eyes again one more time, and I could understand how the two met, that lean could get you so far. And it was important. And we're still on our lean journey. And I would tell you that we've got a lot of the low hanging fruits, but we're still trying to move our way up the lean tree to more medium, higher level thinking
Sure.
of lean. But and we will always be a lean manufacturer. We will always be looking to drive waste out of our company. But the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, is a different insight. And it's really a technology insight and understanding, or trying to understand, how the world is changing and what you need to do to be able to survive in a changing world. And in that, right, on YouTube, I found two great mentors. One guy actually is from Denver, a man by the name of Eric Kimberling, and he's an expert on ERP systems, or resource planning, which is basically the software that undergirds your business. He's based in Denver. He produces wonderful videos about ERP systems and CRM and other software packages. So he is a great communicator. I met him one time, and I felt like a fanboy meeting him and thanking him for all he did.
Yeah.
The second influencer, I guess, that I came across who had a profound impact on me was another person named Walker Reynolds. And he really he's a software integrator. And his great concept is the unified namespace, or a hub where, using IIoT, or the Industrial Internet of Things, that you could put sensors all over your equipment and have that information reporting into a central hub, and where you could clean up that information and then send it up into the cloud. And there you could run artificial intelligence algorithms and gain new insights into what you're doing. What that is, when I think about Industry 4.0, and again, it's massive, right? And I'm a beginner. I have a very small idea of what it is. It's the integration of information technology and operational technology. And how do the two meet? And how do you get it to the right place in the right form so that algorithms can provide you insights that are not available to you in real time?
Yeah. That concept of, or you said some of the concepts of lean, what are some of those that you said you kind of got the low hanging fruit, but for somebody not familiar with the ideas of lean manufacturing and how you've gone about things over the last 7 years, what are some of the concepts that you've incorporated or that you're thinking about?
I mean, these are concepts that you're constantly working on and constantly trying to perfect. Basic in any manufacturing, probably in any business, you have the same problems over and over and over. And the hard thing is getting your mind around them. So something as simple as 5 why analysis. You have a problem and ask why 5 times. Why did this happen? Oh, that's the reason. Why again? Why again? And if you ask the why question 5 times, you're more likely to get to the root cause.
Yep.
So being good at 5 why analysis, right? Making it part of our life. Related to that are Ishikawa fish bone diagrams. That's critical to it. Something called CAPAs. Okay, I have to remember what that stands for: corrective actions, preventative actions. Other things, and a little bit higher up, are A3s. It's a Toyota idea of thinking deeper about your issues. And there's a form, right, that you fill out, and it's a way of deeper thinking about issues that go beyond, why did it break down today? Kata thinking. Kata thinking is a way of dealing with problems in a systematized daily approach, where you put a future state that you want to get to, and what are the steps that you're going to take to get there. Let me think of other ones. There's a bunch.
Sure.
The world of lean manufacturing is beautiful. Again, I'm a true believer. My life has been changed, and I think it's an essential thing that anybody who manufactures has to implement and know. and know it deeply and know it intimately. So, we've got a lot of the basic stuff done, and now we're working our way up, really thinking about our quality management system, thinking about, single minute exchange of dyes or SMED, I think TPM, total preventive maintenance. There's a lot. It's a rich, rich world, and it is something that will never exhaust you. In our world of manufacturing, Toyota, right?
Yeah.
This sounds dramatic, but they are a light to the world.
Mm.
They are really, really inspirational. And I have the greatest admiration for their approach.
And a lot of acronyms to remember, right?
A lot of Japanese words, going to the Gemba or to the work floor, Gemba walks, where the leaders walk around and really try to understand through observation what's there and getting rid of the intermediaries who are doing the best they can,
Sure,
right?
sure.
But being on the work floor, seeing what's going on, spending the time, talking to the people, that's how you make profound changes, not through layers of reports.
And that process that you described earlier in how you think about Industry 4.0, from being able to collect the data across your facility to then getting it in the right form to then feeding it into algorithms that can help you make faster decisions. Marco, what's that do for a business? What's that do for a manufacturing facility? And for you specifically, what's it done?
Okay, it can do a lot. And let me tell you, I'm in the process. It's hard
Yeah.
to be able to integrate your IT and your OT. But I'll give you an example, of one very narrow example. So when you're manufacturing, you're making things, you have machinery that makes it. And for a long time, whenever a machine broke down, we were reactive. The machine breaks down, call the mechanic. The mechanic shows up. Hopefully they can fix it, or if a part is broken, they have it in their warehouse and they can bring it out. But if they don't, they'll have to fly it in. It may be a day, it may be a weekend. And then meanwhile, you're down. So the world of reactive maintenance is really something that you want to move away from.
Yeah.
So as you mature in any manufacturing, you move to the world of preventive maintenance. And in preventive maintenance, you say, hey, let's stop, change out parts, grease things. Let's take some days just to shut down, to delay the sorts of maintenance problems that will hit you eventually. And we do that, right? Once or twice a year, we close down our plant and go out there and just, make sure everything's running the right way and change out things that need to be changed and clean and really get our mind around it. So that's the second level of maintenance. The third level, right? The level that I want to get to, that we're working hard to reach, is the world of predictive maintenance. And that's being able to predict a problem. As an example, we bought Japanese boilers, and there are thousands of these boilers all over the world. And they monitor the boilers. There's sensors on our boilers, and all that information goes back to Tokyo. And what they have the ability to do is to look how your machine is running, and tell you when you will have a problem. And the boilers are still fairly new, so we don't know when. But one day we'll get a call or a text or an email that will say, your boiler is going out of line. Your motors are heating up. You're having all these odd vibrations. Our prediction is that your boiler will go down in 60 days. We are going to send a part to you, and we'll arrange for a maintenance guy to show up. And we're going to wait. We're not going to do it next week. We're going to wait maybe 30 days or 45 days. And then let's schedule a time. And then we'll shut down and we'll fix the problem before it happens. So that is a good example, right, of Industry 4.0, of going from the world of reactive maintenance, maturing, getting to the world of preventive maintenance, and then moving as time goes by to the world of predictive maintenance. So that's a tiny example, right, of what Industry 4.0 is. So it is a deep, rich area. It's quickly evolving. Lean has been around a long time. It's really started after World War II with Toyota's necessities to adjust the way they thought about making cars. But it's mature and it's deep, and there's a lot there. Industry 4.0 is probably something that of the last 5 to 10 years. And so it's still evolving. Technology is evolving. Artificial intelligence is evolving.
For sure.
And what I believe, right, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, is that if a company does not have a digital transformation plan as a strategy, it's a matter of time before you become outdated and you will die. Somebody more efficient will come out and eat your business or drive you out of business or force you to merge with somebody else. So what I would tell other manufacturers, learn about Industry 4.0, develop your own digital transformation strategy that makes sense for you, and get on it because you're running out of time. In the next 5 to 10 years, if you don't make that transformation, you will be dead. And I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Well, Marco, as my final question to you, and what you just said is the perfect encapsulation of kind of this question and our conversation. How does a leader, another leader listening to that warning, to go back to your conversation about change and the words that you shared there, how do they think about starting to incorporate this change within their organization in the ways that you've thought about it?
Well, I mean, as a leader or a senior manager, your first job is to get educated. If you're not going down the lean pathway, you're in trouble also, right? Those are two critical pathways, the lean way and the Industry 4.0. Become educated. Start out as something as simple as I did. Go buy Lean Manufacturing for Dummies.
There you go.
Right? Learn about Six Sigma or Lean Six Sigma, which is another way of thinking about things. And then for Industry 4.0, something as important as a enterprise resource planning or ERP, go look at the videos of Eric Kimberling. For Industry 4.0, Walker Reynolds. There are lots of books. Unfortunately, when you're an owner of a company or a senior manager, you're so busy working so hard all the time that you can forget to really start educating about yourself about how the world is changing. And if you don't, the world will pass you by, and you become irrelevant quickly. And it's only speeding up with the rise of artificial intelligence. So that's what I would say. Go look up Walker Reynolds. Go look up Eric Kimberling. Go read Lean Manufacturing for Dummies as a start. That's my advice.
We'll link all that and we'll share those resources so people don't have to go searching for it. Marco, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experience here. We appreciate you, sir.
I mean, it's hard won. I've done everything wrong you can do, but fortunately, I've survived.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.